Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video I want us to look at the nested for loops. We also cover the while loop, also cover the repeat and the break statements, and finally we're going to finish with the repeat and the next statement. So let's get started. So the previous video discussed about the for loops. So this video I want us to discuss about the nested for loops, how we can nest several for loops in a given program. So we are going to multiply some two numbers. So we can just do this something like for I in 1 up to 5. Then you can also do for j in 1 up to 5. And then we can say like we can print out, and then we say like paste, can paste the value of I multiplied by j multiplied by j. It's going to give us times j. So this is just a simple implementation. Yeah, so this is a nested for. You can nest as many loops as you want. You're going to use this mostly when you're working with matrices, whereby let's say for example you want to make like a certain operation in a given matrix. You're going to encounter this a lot because it has two dimensions. So this can cover the x dimension, and this can cover the y dimension. So the next thing that we're going to look at is the while loop. So while loop is normally executed when so long as a particular condition is met, and if it's not, then it's going to not execute. So first thing, in a while loop you have to initialize it to prevent it running infinitely. The while loop and the repeats, there you have to be very careful with them because they can run infinitely. So if while that one is true, while x is less, while that one is true, I want us to print x, and then we can maybe increment it with 2, and then we can print the value of x. So what is going to happen here is going to iterate. It's going to like when we give it the first number x, it's going to look as x less than 10. Yeah, it's less than 10, so it's going to print this value of x. And it's going, after it has printed the value of 0, it's going to add 2, and then it proceeds. So let's see what's going, it's going to output. As you can see, it has added 2, 2, 2, 2, and then finally, and then while it has added, since we're given it this range of 10, less than 10, and then it's going to print the value of x. So another thing that we can look at is a repeat statement, repeat and break, repeat and break. So we can initialize it as well, since this one can also run infinitely, so you need to be very careful with it. You want it to repeat, it can repeat printing x, it can repeat printing x, and then we're going to increment it with the value of 1, and then we have to give it a condition. So we want to say if the value of x equals to 5, or any number that you want, provided it is greater than 3, greater than 5, then it should break from that loop. So 3, repeat. So as you can see, it's going to start with 3, and then it's looking x equals to 3. As 3 equals to 5, no, it's not. So it's going to continue. It's going to add 1. Is 4 equal to 5? No. Is 5 equals to 5? Yes, and it's going to break out from the loop. But if we change this value to, let's say 6, 7, more numbers are going to be printed out here, because it's yeah, as you can see, when you run it, more numbers are going to be printed, because we have increased the whatever the range of values that are going to be printed out. So another thing that we can look at is repeat and next, repeat and next. So we can assign a vector, maybe 3 up to 10. Then we say repeat. I want this thing to repeat. Then we can put a for loop, because we have to iterate. We have to iterate that vector, so we're going to use a for loop. Just say I in x, I in x, I in x, and then we can say if I equals to 5, if the value of I is equals to 5, we go next. Of course, we have to go next, and then we're going to print I. So what's going to happen here is, let's just see the result. Let's see the result. It's printing infinitely. So what have I forgotten? What have I forgotten? Yeah, as you can see, guys, now if you do this, it's going to print infinitely. That's why we in a repeat statement, you need a break. So as you can see, when you run this, it's going to run infinitely. Give a point. It's going to run infinitely. In fact, it may end up crashing. So we need to have a break statement here. We need to have a break statement here, so that once it has gotten whatever we're looking for, it's going to break out of that loop. So that's how. So if you're dealing with very long numbers, it can end up crashing your session. So you need to be very careful when you're dealing with the repeat statement and also the while loop. So this break statement is mainly used to break out from this repeat statement or the repeat loops. So as you can see here, we have managed to print 3, 4, and since 5 is part of, if it's going to be 5, we have to go to next. Yeah, so that's what has just generally happened. So we can just do a very simple test case. I want us to do a very simple test case whereby I want to create a matrix, maybe a matrix. I want to take something like a matrix in which since we have the x, the rows and the columns, so I want it to have like if the x values I want it to be, let me just do it like this. If we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, and then I have the 1. Let me just move that. I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, and then finally 9. So I want us to create this matrix, and then this number here is going to be filled by the multiplication. So this is going to be 1 times 1, 1 times 2, all the way up to here, so that we're going to have like a multiplication table. So this one is going to be 81, 64, 49, and so on. So how can you do that? So we can do this by combining. We're going to use the nested for loops. We're going to use this nested for loop, and we're also going to use the matrix. So let's get started. So we first define our matrix. And then we can see the data equals to we can like replicate, going to replicate 0 81 times, because it's going to be 8 by 8. So we're going to have the number of rows equals to 9, then the number of columns equals to 9. So this matrix 1 should be filled with zeros. So we need to fill this with our matrix. So to do that, we're just going to do the for I equals to 1 up to number 9, and then for j can use any numbers. For j in 1 up to 9 as well, 9 up to j. So for us to fill this, it's going to be, we need to extract when we were doing matrices, I showed you how we can extract this first value or any of these values. So to do that, you can do going to say mat1, then you extract I and j, and then you're going to assign these two to I multiplied by j. As simple as that. So let's see this. Now let's look at our matrix, mat1. Let's see how it looks like, and we have filled it with our values. It's just as simple as that, guys. So you can see 1 times 1, 2 times 2, and you can change it as much as you want. You can fill and can come up with a matrix. You can come up with an array. You can come up with any form of the data structures that we looked at, and it's going to be cool thing. So guys, thank you very much. This is a final video in the control structures. So I'll see you in the next video, and remember to subscribe, share, and leave a comment, like, and I will really appreciate. Support my channel by watching my videos, commenting, sharing it with your friends, and finally subscribe and turn on the bell notifications. Thank you guys.